everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bilikis. How you all doing? It's good to be back again because it's been a while. I just had to take a long vacation to have fun and get refreshed, and trust me, I'm back to work. So we're going to continue the foundational series we started last year, which started from the basic bodies, the basic sleeve and all that. Today's class will be on how to draft the princess dart pattern. We have two types: the classic princess dart, the normal princess dart, and the altered, which is the princess Bustier pattern too. I'm going to be talking about the two in detail. Yeah, and what brought about all this that adjustment is because especially Africans, we like our outfit being tight, fitted, shapeful and all that. So that is what brought about, that was what brought about all this. So what do you need? You need your basic bodice pattern, and please, if you have not watched the video on how to draft the updated basic bodice pattern, I will put that in the description box below. You need to watch it. I made it so detailed. So here I have a replica of that. Now you just need to insert the nape to your waist measurement. For her it is 17 plus seam allowance, that is 17 and a half. So in this pattern we're just going to add all the seam allowance, so you could actually draft it directly on your fabric. So after doing that, all I have to do now is this. The shoulder slope has been inserted, the armhole. How did I go about the armhole? I'm working with the bust 38. When I divide that by 4, I'm going to have 9 and a half. So all I did is to insert it on the chest line. Can you see that point? And then connect the armhole. So the first thing we are going to do now is to take the measurement of this armhole curve, because for the princess that we are going to be taking in some dart at the armhole region and also at the waist region. So let me just take the measurement here. Here I have 9 inches, so just divide that into 2 and that will give me 4 and a half. So all you have to do is to measure 4 and a half on the armhole line. Good. So if you are drafting directly on your pattern, just add extra 1 inch to that. That is because of the dart we will be taking. So instead of the 4 and a half, I'm going to make it 5 and a half. Which is actually here. Good. So at that point, I'm just going to connect it straight to the bust point line. This is the bust point line and then the waistline. You might be wondering about this line. That is the bust span line. That is the distance from one nipple to the other. For her, it is 8 inches. I'm working with a medium size measurement. So 8 inches divided by 2, you have 4. So insert 4 on your bust point line and the waist and draw a straight line. So that will be for the waist darts. Now, having done this, the amount of dart you're going to take at the armhole region and the waist region depends on how busty you are. That is what will determine the amount of dart you're going to take. Like when I made the basic bodice pattern, the dart I took at the waist was just half an inch on both sides. So for myself, who is a plus size, I'm going to make it 3/4 on both sides. But in case you want something fitted and so shapeful, like for this medium size, I could increase the waist dart to something like 3/4 inch, and for myself, I can make it 1 inch. So it depends on the level of thickness you want. That will determine the amount of that you're going to take. And in most cases, if you are taking, let's say, 3/4 inch on the waist dart, you can take half an inch on the armhole region. But if you want it so fitted and shapeful, you can do the same dart on both the waist and the armhole region. So you could just give this a try and see what works for you. But from experience, when I see a client, I know actually what to do to that person. So now, first let's take the dart. So here I'm just going to do half an inch on both sides. So this is the line, half an inch here, and also half an inch here. Then I'm going to connect this dart straight here. But before I do that, you have to go up by 1 inch from the bust point line. Good. The dart is formed. But for myself, I will go as high as 3/4 or 1 inch. Yes. Also for her, I can do the same thing. If I'm using 3/4 inch here, I can make use of 3/4 inch here too. So after doing that, I will now have to extend this lower line. Why? Because when you look at it, you will see there's going to be a shortage. This is longer than this very one. And then by the time we make a curve, there's going to be some measurement lost around that. How do you do that? Since we took 1/2 inch on both sides, that will be 1 inch. I'm just going to extend by 1 inch. So then make a new armhole because this is not needed anymore. Good. That has been formed. Now we can go to the waist region. For the waist, like I did on the basic bodies, I just took 1/2 inch on both sides. But for her, you could increase it to 3/4 on both sides or just maintain it 1/2 inch, depending on how busty the person is. Like for this mannequin, she's not really busty. Sometimes size 38 could be slim and very busty, but for her, the mannequin is not so busty. But for some people that are really busty, I would advise you to do 3/4 for this medium size now. So you can do 3/4 inch on both sides here and then 3/4 inch on the armhole region. So here I'm just going to make it 1/2 inch. Like for myself, I can make it up to 1 inch on both sides here and 1 inch also at the armhole region. I will do the same thing here and come down by 1 inch. Good. And I'm going to take my armhole curve and blend up this area. So this is what the princess that looks like. Can you see that? That's because she's not so busty. But by the time you take more darts, the more darts you take, the more prominent this part is going to be. This is for the classic. So now let us just add the same allowance. Now, initially, the bust measurement is 38 inches. When you divide by 4, you're going to have 9.5. So note that. Now, we are taking some dart off, and whatever is taken off has to be added back. So here we took 1/2 inch on both sides, which is 1 inch. That is going off. That has to be added back. Then when you are joining your fabrics together, because this is going to be separated, you need to join it together. So you need 1/2 inch from both sides to join it. That's another 1 inch, making it 2. Then you will need your size seam allowance, which is very important. That makes it 3 inches. So I'm going to be adding extra 3 inches to 9 and 3. That will give me 12.5. So 1, 2, 3, then half. So now I'm going to place the 12.5 here. Now let's go to the waist. The waist I'm working with is 30 inches. So when you divide 30 inches by 4, you're going to have 7.5. Just note that by the side. Then come over to the waist region. Here we took out 1/2 inch on both sides, which is 1. Then you also need 1/2 inch on both sides to join it together, making another 1, making 2. Then 1 inch for the size seam allowance, making 3. So I'll be adding 3 inches to the 7.5, which will make it 10.5. So with this, we have successfully added the seam allowance to it. Good. So the pattern is ready. You can decide any type of neckline you want. By standard, you maintain the 3 inches by 3 inches to have a high neck, except you want something lower. I'll try to make a video on different necklines and how to expand your neckline. Then don't forget to add 1/2 inch shoulder seam allowance. When you're making a nice blouse, I will advise you to expand your neckline. You can make it 4 inches by 5 or 5 inches by 3, depending on your choice. So it is time to go to the princess bustier. I've not cut out the other one because I want to show you the difference in the dart. So the difference here is that you just have to add your under the bust measurement, that is from the nape of your neck to under your bust, that is where the wire of your bra is. You take the measurement there. So for her it is 14 inches, which I will mark now. So that's the only new measurement we are adding up to it. Good. So this is under the bust. Good. So what you are going to do here is this, and I want to make a little different. Remember from the previous one we did, I took half an inch dart on both sides here and also at the waist. So in this case, I'm going to increase the dart so that you will see the difference and how prominent the bust area is going to be. So here, I just took in 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, summing up to 1.5 inches. Then I extended and connect here. Now let us go to the waist area. So here now I have 3/4 inch on both sides instead of the half an inch I did the other time. After doing that, on this under bust, to make the bust area prominent, you are just going to add extra 1/4 inch to whatever dart you took at the waist area. So since you took 3/4 inch at the waist here, now I'm going to make the under bust 1 inch. So if you use half an inch like the previous one, that means it's going to be 3/4 here. So this is 3/4, so here is also going to become 1 inch. And just connect with the ruler. I'm trying to make this as detailed as possible. And you see, the next thing you will need your armhole curve, and then you blend this up. And before that, remember we went up by 1 inch. We are going to come down here too by 1 inch. Then so I'm making sure the curve passes through here. Or first, you can connect first to the 1 inch before you blend it up. I'm just trying to. Good. So can you see the difference? So that is the difference. So here you just use the straighter part of your armhole curve to just connect it. And you see how beautiful that looks. So looking at the dart now, you can see the difference from this very one. Here is for a medium size that is not busty because we took half an inch, but here we took 3/4 of an inch. So this is the difference between the princess bustier and the classic princess. Here, just a little dart and it's a little bit shapeful. Unlike this, shows all your curves and shape. So that is just the difference. So now let us quickly add the seam allowance and all. So here we took 3/4 inch on both sides, that is 1.5. Then don't forget you need half an inch on both sides to join it together. That is 1. When you add it to it, it becomes 2.5. Then 1 inch for side seam allowance, you add it to it, it becomes 3.5. So 3.5 to 9.5, fourth of the bust measurement, that gives you 13 inches. So you can do all this directly on your fabric and it's going to come out nice. So now let's go to the waist. Here we took 3/4 of an inch on both sides, that is 1.5, plus extra 1 inch to sew it up, that makes it 2.5. Then 1 inside seam allowance, that makes it 3.5. So you're going to have 3.5 to 7.5, which is fourth of the waist measurement. So that will give us 11. So by the time you sew this up, it's just going to show all your curves and edges. This is what we have. So let's just do a different neckline. Let's say 5 inches. So that should be along the slope by 3 inches in depth. You can make any type of neckline you want. So that is it. Don't forget the 1/2 inch shoulder seam allowance. As good as done, so let's pull out, especially the darts. So this middle one is going off. And we have to remove the rest of the darts. You can have a V-neck, any type of neckline. I will make another tutorial on that. So let's cut the other one through the darts. See, and I'm just going to finish this off. The two types of princess that we have, the classic one and the princess bustier. For these, there are times you just want a simple fitted gown, you can always use this. But if you want something so fitted and shapeful, you can always go for the princess bustier. So right now, I'm going to show you how to have a princess that also has the back. What you need also is the back basic bodies. As you can see, this is the zipper allowance and the main pattern. So all we have to do to achieve a princess that is that you just have to connect from the armhole here straight into the dart, and that is all. And in case you don't want the princess dart at the back, you can make use of your normal back basic bodies. Trust me, yeah, it also goes well. But if you want a princess dart, all you have to do is to measure the armhole the same way. Okay, that's still 9. Half of that will be 4.5. 4.5. So for the back, just add 1/2 inch because we are not taking any dart. So that will be 5, which is here. And let's see. The next thing is to connect into the dart, and that's all. So I'll do that this way. Into the dart, and that is it. Can you see that was pretty easy? So another thing we are just going to do, just a little extension, just come out by 1/4 inch from the armhole, just 1/4 inch. You see that? And we draw the armhole, just 1/4 inch, because of the measurements that will be lost when making the curve, and that is all. So let's add the seam allowance to it. Now we did not take any dart from the armhole at the back because there's no bust at the back. So all we need is 1/2 inch on both sides to sew it up after cutting it through. That's 1. Then the side seam allowance, another 1, that is 2. So you'll be adding 2 to the 9.5 to give us 11.5. That's after the zipper allowance. Then you come to the waist. The waist, we took 1/2 inch dart on both sides, that is 1. Then 1 inch to join it back together, 2. 1 inside seam allowance, that is 3. You'll be adding 3 to 7.5 to give us 10.5. That's after the zipper allowance. So as good as done. To see how I'll cut the dart for the back. And you see. So this is the new armhole. this is it. And then finish up with that. This is what the back looks like, and this is the front for the classic. So this bag goes with both the classic and the Bustier princess bag. Can you see that? So if this tutorial has been helpful, please give me a giant thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.